Hello, everyone. Hello. Welcome, everybody, each and every one of you. Welcome to today's weather tonight. Here, as always, I'm Cloud Hudson. I'm your local stand-up joker, comedian / meteorologist. I'm licensed meteorologist, but barely. I'm here today to talk about what happened today. Today's weather tonight. Today being what just happened, and then tonight I'm going to talk about it. You get it? Today's weather tonight. The weather that already happened. Not a forecaster. Just a coincidence observer. Welcome on this beautiful Sunday evening. I hope y'all are having a great time tonight. I want to share my screen with y'all so I can get into it. Let me know if the watching this with me doesn't work for you. Give me feedback in the comments. I'd love to see it. Here we go. All right. We are starting from the ground up, starting with volcanic activity. What have we got today? Pretty similar to yesterday. We've still got some we've got a lot of active eruptions, active as in there hasn't been 3 months of dormancy, but the ones that are still popping off pretty hard are moderate explosive. Well, I wanted to look at Lobotolok. Still having some pretty recent activity. Their exclusion zone is 2 kilometers, and another one in Indonesia, Semeru, is also had some more recent activity than other volcanoes. And down here in Chile, we've had some visible material ejected and incandescent material. That's kind of the same story at Suino's Jima. It's had a lot of the Japan volcano that's currently erupting. They can see like at night the incandescent glow of the volcano, but it's not spewing a whole lot of lava. And I didn't want to spend too much time on this because there's not a whole lot of news, but this is areas that we are monitoring, where we're monitoring activity. Also wanted to note that they've got, where is it? Where's Kilauea on this? They had Kilauea marked as in a somewhat active phase, but it's not actively erupting. It's in a unrest. Which makes a lot of sense given the earthquakes we've seen. So let's take a look at these earthquakes. What a juicy map to dive into. So right here you can see lots of earthquake activity over on the main island of volcano. Just says volcano, Hawaii, southwest of volcano, Hawaii. There's been, let's see, today there were some mostly 2.5 is looking like the largest magnitude we had there. But why would I start with Hawaii when it's been Hawaii and Alaska have both been really murmuring, active, talking amongst themselves. The non-contiguous states are just staying as exciting as possible. But let's not ignore what we're just looking at right in the middle of here. Yet another very deep, very high magnitude, a 6.5 magnitude earthquake at 609 kilometers depth. And this is really close to where we saw that 7 last week, right in the western border of Brazil, the Brazil-Peru border. And then we also have, like stepping stones, these 4.3s at mid-range down. Let me click on a higher one so you can see them jump. Yeah. some shallow quakes, shallow 4.3 and 4.2s, then deeper still in the, like 70 to 150 range down, making their ways down the coast, but not exactly in order. Let's also look at this one in Guatemala, I think is where the center is. We had a 6.1 yesterday, and then the 6.5 was today. And we've still got a lot of activity creeping through the main United States, just creeping and crawling. There's momentum going into the plate. Really, I'm really expecting more out of this area soon, because we have put a lot of the earthquakes have put a lot of energy into this. Really, it's like the lacework of a fracture zone. In fact, let me see if I can pull that up real quick. Well, no, I won't get too lost on that. Puerto Rico, off of the coast, we had a 4.5 at 10 kilometers depth. Does that sound familiar to anybody? Today at 3:52 UTC, and several again, a lot of earthquake activity around Puerto Rico right now. Really interesting to note. Still seeing a lot of shallow 4.5s all over the place, almost equally spaced around the planet. Let's take a look over here. This is the one from yesterday. No, this isn't the one from yesterday. This is a brand new 4.8 in Risigliano, Italy. Risigliano, Italy is this one going to be close to Naples, like the other day when I was nowhere near Naples when I thought it was? Yes, it is. It's kind of close to Naples. So remember that this is the area that Vesuvius is in. I mean, we're not right next to Vesuvius. This isn't Vesuvius having an earthquake, but we're at that again. Very shallow 4.2, cracking its way into Italy. So we've popped the top off of the Italy can. We're ready to get a lot of action funneled into here. This is an area that I've heard geologists are watching for unrest, volcanic unrest in. So let's keep our fingers crossed that everyone's fine, but also keep an eye on it, because like it's going to be pretty exciting if we see another Vesuvius, but also get the heck out of there, Italian people. Is this a new? No, this is yesterday's Turkey quake. But we had one up here. No, that was yesterday, late yesterday as well. Let's see. These are yesterday we had the shallow 4.5 in Tajikistan, and now we have a slightly deeper 4.4 in Tajikistan. So maybe we've got some energy plate wise, or into the plate, I mean. And we're still seeing some aftershocks here in Kyrgyzstan, with a shallow 4.5 and an actually very shallow 5 and another shallow 4. We are seeing all kinds of activity, let's just say. And oddly, at like the same latitude, just really right along this latitude, is just shimmy shaking its way. This is the plate. This is what the plate's doing. Look at my video. It's just going like, whoa, whoa. Okay, that's my impression of what the Eurasian plate is doing. It's just shimmying along. And the earthquakes are a sign of the shimmy. We had a 5.1, just, let's see, this north of, in Taiwan proper. Yeah, right in the heart of Taiwan. We had how shallow? A 4.5 kilometer deep 5.1 in the heart of Taiwan. Fortunately, it looks like it's not too close to any major cities, because that would be shallow enough to feel a 5, I believe. Have I ever felt an earthquake? No, not at all. But I've definitely been on places where they occurred. I just didn't notice. You got to be a little more stable than I am to notice an earthquake, if you know what I mean. All right. That was yesterday's. That was today in the Northern Mariana Islands, a 4.6 at 180 kilometers depth. And then at the other end of the bend, we had this 5.1. That was yesterday. This 5 was also yesterday. And then just ricocheting, just like in the top of this plate, there's smaller quakes just ricocheting through here. This was yesterday. Oh, this is a deep one, a new deep Fiji quake today, which I think might be almost on the opposite side of the world of our Brazilian quake. Let's take a look. Well, okay, you can load those. You're not going to load the American ones? Okay. They're nearly identical latitudes. Also, look at this. When I zoom out this far, you can really see how evenly spaced these are. Look at that triangle of doom. Well, it's not doom, but it's almost like these are pushing into this deeper quake, almost like that. But I'm not saying it is. And it looks like if that happened with this, be looking at there, or no, that was a shit drawing. A crappy drawing there, or up here. But I think we'd most likely see right here, because that's where the plate bends are. And we have seen some earthquakes out here in the Arabian Indian Ocean area. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, wait, I gotta can't. The drawings don't move with me yet, but I'll get there. Wondering if this will triangulate to somewhere in Vancouver. Oh, and then yesterday's Greenland quake. So really the big story tonight is that we had another extremely deep quake in Brazil. Let me go to Earthquake 3D real quick so that we can see. See how I just bravely enter things into my search bar for you guys? I am just bearing my soul in what might get suggested, because I know in my heart of hearts, there's nothing so embarrassing that I've searched other than how nerdy I am. Let's take off inside. Yeah. Okay. And then I only want to see. Yeah. Let's see. I want to see this guy. Yes. Let's look at exactly the other side of the world from this deep quake would put us right there. What do we have here? Wait, let me get this on the other side. Look at right at the other side. Right at the other side. Almost. Y'all, this is, if you want to sponsor me, there is a way to donate funds to my fund to get this going. Okay. Take off solid. Yeah, right here in the middle, in the heart of everything we've been seeing. So yeah, and they've still got the 7 marked out here. Let's do just in 1 day from now, or all magnitudes within the last 2 days. See how like boop, 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 just walking its way down the Japan islands chain into the Indonesian island chain. and then they spread out equidistantly, and you see these rings overlapping at the same touch points. Really interesting stuff, guys. I encourage you all to watch Dutch Sense if you want to learn more about earthquake dynamics. I'll say that. I'll just say it that way. This got there. Yeah, I guess I didn't know. 4.5 off the coast of Puerto Rico, and also 6.1 here in Guatemala, 6.5 in Brazil. So pretty, not like the biggest activity ever, but like some pretty significant activity, I would say. Now let's go from these earthquakes, and of course they don't have any of the US quakes on here, even though I've got all magnitudes listed. Not even gonna get into that. Oh, I wanted to pull up don't think I'm going to be able to find the exact visual that I'm looking for fast enough. So I'm just going to start talking about, oh no, I think I will. Yeah. Yeah. Now, I won't bring them up very often, but I will occasionally bring up something that the USGS has put out. Is their interactive fault map. And you can see the way that our cluster of earthquakes has been rippling through the country. It's right where we have so much broken up rock and easy places, easy fracture zones and fault lines for these to go into. And this does not include any of the fractures induced by drilling, which are really how we're getting from Texas and Oklahoma over to New Madrid. But I don't know, that map still kind of sucks. I'm not gonna waste time on that. But as that gives you a good enough understanding that we really have like a perforated crust, a perforated earth over there in the West Coast. Now, let's take a look at what the actual temperatures were, switching from lithospheric weather to atmospheric weather. We saw a little bit of a warm up this weekend. This past week was significantly warmer than the past 2 weeks. Remember that I already told you that that's how Aquarius season is supposed to go, starting off with heavy rains. Then we'll bring in the snow, and then we'll finish off by just some rip roaring winds at the end of Aquarius season. This is a cold front coming in and spilling some of this Arctic air back in to set us up for some next weekend southern snowstorms. Not exactly storms, but storms with snow. Hey, there has been continued snow in the north, and I mean, good for them. I love that for them, but like not nothing here. I want to go to observed precipitation. Because we also had a lot of rain in the past few days throughout the southeast. I saw a lot of rain in the western North Carolina mountains, places that almost never have a creek right now, and that's not the best way to go into February. That's going to be really wet, but it's not like we're not at life-threatening levels yet. Again, always keep an eye on the hazards and warnings, because that'll tell you what we're really in for. But let's take a look at this longer range. Yeah, I mean, look, in the past week, we've just had so much water dumped on Texas and Louisiana, Arkansas, Alabama area. And then afterwards, it's kind of trickled into the north, but they really get their juices out down here when the nice, hot, juicy south. And let's not forget that they've gotten literal feet of water week after week here in the Pacific Northwest. So anyone was even thinking about the word drought, don't have to think about it anymore. I mean, kind of ish. Let's look at, are there any current hazards? I feel like there are very few. Maybe some frost and freeze warnings because of that cold front that's moved in. Yeah, we're looking at winter weather advisory, winter storm warnings, and wind advisories here in the Great Smoky Mountains, Tennessee, North Carolina border region of the Appalachia. Pretty much, I'm in one of the only places that you're expecting snow, other than up here in the Northeast in New England and Pennsylvania, New York border, looking very foggy in the Midwest, and still at risk of flash flood events just from the sheer number of rain that's already come into the region. The architecture of the landscape also does hold infinite amounts of water. The water is incompressible and has to go somewhere. You can't just like shove it, pack it down. Water only gets so small and it doesn't really expand and contract very well. So if you got like a foot of water, you just got to wait for it to drain out like a bathtub. And that's what we're looking at with these flood warnings here. There is a flash flood warning in northern Mississippi. Don't want to downplay too much. And we're looking at a high wind watch over here where we saw some earthquake activity at the California border. Now let's go to the derived winds. I want to take a look at goes east derived winds. And you can see this is that cold front moving through. You saw it on the temperature map as like a right angle that's moving back into the waveform. The fronts making those right angles is like the maximum area of two streams not having anything in common. They eventually coalesce and mix well enough to find enough in common to go out the other side. Like, that's not explaining it very well, but the T structures in atmospheric shapes don't last very long. They're like an intermediate phase of a big swirl coming. Remember how we've talked about this a lot. The waves crashing, one density and another density, and both forcing at different rates creates the waves crashing. You can kind of see that here. You can almost see this swirling itself back into one line, but it had been a T like this. Actually, instead of that color, I want to show you in a different color. It'd be so awesome if I had a stream deck that like I could just push a button and switch color, but we're not there yet. This, when it came in, went like this across the southeast. And as it moves across the country, that angle gets sharper and sharper until it can't really be an angle anymore and starts to wrap within itself, the way, in a similar way to the way that waves crash upon a shore. But right now we're looking at getting back into that nice spiral shape that will help carry this energy off the coast and move it right along, because I mean, I don't want to gloss over this part either. This is a northwest flow snow event, which is a significant chance of high snow volumes in this particular region of the Southern Appalachians. I'm not an expert in that specific type of event, but I know this is the pattern of getting some nice back end of the cold front, swirl back in, come through the Gulf and swirl back. Man, it's screwing me up to be mirrored. Come in and swirl back. Swirl back. I can't do it because it's mirrored, and that's not okay. The reason I can't swirl my hand the same direction as the spiral here is because we're following the right hand rule, and like since I'm flipped, I can't do that with my hand. And I also can't reach my left hand very well to I can't really goes this is kind of what it's doing, but it's really hard to do because my screen is mirrored. And that's not the way that hands flow. That's not the way that cyclones flow in the northern hemisphere. Speaking of northern hemisphere and all that, look at what we got going on. Still, this big old high out here, not in the real Sargasso Sea region anymore. Thankfully, it's moved off the coast, which had been kind of like not blocking anything from coming in, but wasn't really allowing a good trough pattern to set up. That was kind of a remnant, I think, of the high of the warm ridge that we just got through getting out of our getting out of our country. Oh no. Getting out of the continental United States. Now you see this big vacuum of air. This is where it's going to suck in. I mean, it doesn't really suck in, but this storm is about to make landfall in a cute way, in a big way. Let's see. Do I have well, let me go back to full disk. I want to do west. Have to hover over. Let's look at the same. Oh, it's not going to give me the option for direct. Oh, yes, it will. Okay. Well, that's not too exciting. But it's not a great view of it. Let me see. Animation loops. Yes. Animation loops. Yeah. Look how gorgeous that spiral is. That is a good one. And then it's got a baby spiral behind it. And then we're setting up for yet another one right behind it. So bam, bam, bam. We're going to get hit with some great storms here in a sec. But that is if we get this this energy to move into the United States, get it over the hump of the Rockies, and then we can get into some nice snow action here. I mean, surely the higher elevations in the West will see snow from this, but I'm really excited to see this come into the Southeast by the end of the week, around like the 4th, 5th, 6th of February. Look how beautiful that is. It's like a conch shell. It's like a nautilus. Like you want your cyclone to look like a nautilus. You want it to have that like golden ratio look to it. And oh man, it's so beautiful to see it in motion right there. And then we are seeing a little bit more of that onshore wind at the upper level, but not at the surface level. We get offshore winds at the surface level. So really interesting. I'm so excited to see this storm make landfall and really just charge itself up, because this entire area has gotten soaked to the bone. This is the least continental. Okay. So meteorologists talk about air masses as continental or maritime. Like, is this a landmass that has more characteristics of what air above the ocean would be like, or what air above dry land would be like? And you have to be above the ocean to pick up the moisture to get the storm, but sometimes you need the dynamics of being over the dry land in order to form the right geometry to make the storm. So having super wet land combined with the like really intricate geometry of dry land is going to, I feel like that is a good recipe for keeping this storm alive. It's not going to dry out as it makes its way across the United States, which I feel this last one kind of both dried out and wasn't cold enough. But we're getting a little bit of upper level troughing in. We're getting more cold air back in here. So I think that we will be looking at a good snowstorm this weekend. But knock on wood, you know. I hope. Let's look at the microwave. I want to look at the microwave. Do they not have microwave? Oh yeah, micro combo. Beautiful. Ugh, gorgeous. Look at that. Look at that. Okay, so it's still got daytime color coding on this area, but this is nighttime color coding. Look at that storm. There's like there's practically an eye on that thing, you know? This is where you're getting inflow, sucking in really what's coming all the way from Hawaii. This is a storm that is uniting air from Alaska to Hawaii, and it's all hitting the United States. I think that's really incredible when you get such massive storms to hit like that. And then you can see the two little echoes that are forming in its wake. Actually, they are like wake eddies. That's what the name is. That's what it's called. I'm pretty sure. When you get induced cyclone and anticyclone spin in the wake of a big swirl. Big whirls create little whirls, and so on and such forth. You know, that old chestnut. Now this is some color grading I can get behind too, because you can see beautifully how these look like very strong upper level clouds, and also are showing how we're getting that moisture flowing in, because day level clouds, glaciating clouds will be in green, and thick high level clouds with ice particles yellow. But then thin, I'm really looking at thick high level clouds yellow, and the thin high level clouds with ice particles red. That means they are getting way up there. And we've got they're very cold, snowy clouds. But then as we're in the more tropical latitudes, or approaching tropical latitudes, you're seeing that moisture come in from this direction. And up from the north, you see just lots of cold air freezing it up. That light purple is 7, supposed to be land surface. Really, it's water surface, but the fog, very low and warm. Really interesting illustration of how beautiful this storm is. I'm just such a fan of your work, nature. Really great job, spectacular job. Now, speaking of great work by nature, let's move on to what's beyond our atmosphere, but still contiguous with it. There's no discrete between the Earth and the sun. There's just a little gap, a little low point, a little gradient. Take a look at our current CMEs. Today we've seen 5 coronal mass ejections so far today. Really not, I said so far today. We're already into the next calendar day out of UTC time. Let's take a look at the one that they indicated a possible partial halo. This is a really beautiful eruption. Look at that. Another beautiful flowery petal just unfolding. It's really interesting to me to see the angular size of each petal. That to me implies that there's an aspect of natural symmetry, some sort of like sacred geometry meaning that could be inferred from this. But that's also a large affected disk. Really, it's coming from this whole area. Really pretty to see. Let's watch it one more time. Like a flower blooming, a solar flower blooming. I guess that's a lot more polite to say than the sun farts. We've had let's see. It's really annoying to see geomagnetic storm watch, and we got absolutely nothing. Max X-ray flux of the last 2 hours is in the M class range. So let's see what that's all about. Ooh, we did. We peaked here. Let's see how many. That looks like to be the day's maximum. I remember yesterday we were almost back into B class territory for the X-ray flux. Yeah, we dipped so low. Again, I really feel like these low extremes are implying high extremes, at least at this phase of the solar cycle. Like, look, we go low, 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 and then rocket up with 3 peaks all the way up here. Look at the symmetry of having low, and then we try to get back up and even lower, and then we try to get up less and then even lower. This is the bottom point. This is the breaking point, and then it starts to ricochet back up and have its own ebb and flow of making it up to M 1.2, 1.67 territory. And then currently we're just went back into another little dip, but we are looking at, I bet, another little peak before it's all said and done. Well, maybe not, because some of these, I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see if we get another little peek out of this, if it continues to go into M-class territory or not. Looks like they've got 25% chance of it. Events on the sun past 24 hours. Let's check out 3559. Top solar flares from this region are 23rd, 22nd, and yep, 29th. This is the one that had that M class. And I believe that is, they've got that at, let's see, 9, 140, 152. Can't see it. Oh, well. Let's look at the, see if any of these are modeled to head earthward. Now, this is, again, forecasting, and I'm not a forecaster, but yeah, that, I think that's the one that they've got from 359. This is that activity going off to the west of Earth. And remember, this is west, this is east, and this is north, this is south. And the blue and red are the polarity oscillating. And this is in, believe we're looking at density here. Yeah. You see a little blip coming into our area, but not enough to get near the Earth. Really going to affect the area between Earth and Mercury and Venus more. Really, it's going straight to the galactic center, if I'm being honest. I mean, Earth, looking at Venus and Mercury and Mars, are all lined in Capricorn. So Earth to Capricorn. That makes this area Sagittarius. This is headed slightly towards Sagittarius. So I guess it's not exactly towards the galactic center, but getting pretty close. Really cool to see all of that together. So let's actually look at the current planets. If I'm talking about that so much, let's go ahead and take a look at the current planets. Welcome to all 2 of my viewers. Hello, I'm so happy to have you. One of you's my mom, I bet. Now, let's take a look at today's current planets. We've got the sun at 8 degrees of Aquarius. Are you doing Aquarius activities today? I hope you are, because it's sun day. Today is the day of the sun day. And we're currently in a Jupiter hour. Jupiter hour, Sunday. Actually, I loaded this a few minutes ago. Let's see if it's updated to a Mars hour. Yes, we are currently in a Mars hour. Yeah. actually, I guess Jupiter hour was 49 minutes ago. Goodness. When I started preparing for this stream, it was a Jupiter hour, and now we're in a Mars hour and a Sun day. And we've got that nice, pretty exact trine between Mercury and Uranus in Capricorn and Taurus, respectively, making that grand Earth trine that I was looking forward to with the moon at 15 degrees of Venus, just past her apogee point. So the moon is as far from the Earth physically as she can be in her orbit, but not necessarily furthest from you, because where she is with respect to the nodes tells us how far towards the northern hemisphere or southern hemisphere she is. But also that rotates around at a different rate than the apogee perigee point. And then we've got well, this is kind of squaring off with Chiron and the North Node. This, where we just had Mars and Mercury together, and Venus is swiftly approaching this area as well. Mars again is exalted in Capricorn, and so Mars and Capricorn things, I'm not going to list them off, but you know what they are. It's not my cup of tea, being Mars and Capricorn. That's not like how I act. I don't really behave that well. But Mars and Capricorn does what it means to and does it on purpose. And I'm a little less like that. So it's been a really interesting challenge to work with this energy and try to have intention and structure and chronological time sense. But also, let's not derail from the fact that Venus just made this perfect grand sextile with Saturn, Jupiter, and herself here. And I really like all three of these. I love how many feminine signs we have to balance out this new hot-headed Pluto in Aquarius. I think that, and having Sun in Aquarius and just coming off of a Leo full moon, I'm personally more comfortable when there's more feminine planets out there because everyone else slows down. And I'm like not ready for everyone to be going so fast. I would like them to slow down to the feminine speed a little bit, please. Men, you don't have to think all the time. Whoa, what if you just didn't have a thought for a sec? What if you tried to not have a thought for a second? That'd be crazy. That'll be crazy, but it might make you a lot more chill. Be a lot cooler if you did not think for a minute. That's the energy I'm getting from this. I love Venus in Capricorn with Uranus in Taurus. Nobody's where they're supposed to be, but they're doing it anyway. And Moon in Virgo, I'm sorry out there to all my Virgo moons, but you just really don't know. There's no correct place to put a feeling. So if your feelings are always making you feel like you should have a correct label in place for them, that's gotta stink. Man, I can't relate. Can't relate to knowing where everything goes. But man, you Virgos out there, people with Virgo energy, more power to you. But from this Taurus, let me just say, there's a reason that you have a third Earth sign. Sometimes you just need to sit still. Whoa. Capricorn and Virgo, you need to chill out just a little bit. That's what I think these transits, we've had such a long time of Jupiter and Taurus, and I'm so grateful for that because I think everyone needs to remember how to sit back and relax, just eat and be happy with what is here. Gratitude. I don't know. I feel like Taurus is a grateful sign, thinking about what is here, what is real, what you actually have around you. Just feels so much more grounded than the other two, let's say. Virgo feels a little bit like a mudslide to me, and Capricorn feels like an earthquake. And I'd like the earth to stay still for a little bit. What a concept. Now, I know that I'm setting myself up as opposite to Scorpio, and that's also problematic sign, but love me some Scorpio too. Hey, you can't have nice things without plumbing. Scorpio is plumbing. I just love mundane astrology associations, like figuring out what little things. Maybe that's the Virgo energy I need to cultivate, is figuring out where all the little things go, figuring out what sign I can label all my things in my. Maybe that's how I'll organize my room. Maybe I'll have 12 wheels, or make it a wheel in 12 divisions and put all the things that go with each sign in each area. Well, of course, I'd have to use make the bathroom be Scorpio, and that puts it opposite to my altar, which is Taurus. So that's perfect, actually. Yeah, and then that would mean that going out the door is Aries energy. Yeah, I only go out the door if I have Aries energy. You know what I'm saying? um, yeah, yeah, I love that. I'm gonna try to reorganize my room in the zodiac shape. That will be my Lunar New Year resolution. Everybody excited about Lunar New Year coming up on February 9th next week? We're looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to Lunar New Year. We're looking at coming out of a water rabbit year into a wood dragon year. And I don't claim to know much about Chinese astrology. I just think that's cool. I think it's cool. It resonates with me to know we're going into a wood dragon. Like, something about that seems right, and I'm excited for it. But I am not the expert on that. I'll probably share more in my community tab about it. Once again, reminder, if you're not watching me on YouTube, I do have a YouTube channel at Cloud Hudson, and I post a lot of stuff on my community tab that is resources and links to other scientists and communicators and all those people on YouTube and other websites, linking my sources there and sending you to people who know a little bit more in depth. I'm more of a generalist. I can just tell that all of these things are waves. You know, I don't claim to know much, but I'm pretty sure that's an oscillation right there. Pretty sure if something goes around and around in a circle, if you stretch that circle out, it would be a wave. So anything that goes around and around and around is probably a wave. And if it's a wave, it can interfere with other waves. And all the waves interfere all the way up and down. And that's what we are. That's what we're made of. We are waves. So with, I'm already getting a little, you know, saying the obvious stuff part. Let's get into the cards to listen for what the cosmic message is. What is the message from beyond the planets? Let's see. I use the cards because they can reach farther than physical observation. I believe that this is kind of a way to call in which timeline we're on and not manifest it, but like anchor ourselves to a timeline. A good one, hopefully, a positive, you know what I'm saying. The cards can listen to the universe because they're not using material reality as the method of communication. We can't send satellites as far as we can send quantum entangled timelines. I guess those are the best words that we have right now for what I'm trying to say, but that's not what I'm trying to say. That's the best phrasing I currently have for how this works. Cards can reach beyond physical because of the element of chaos. So let's shuffle in order to introduce a little bit more chaos into these cards. All right. Just gonna cut them blindly again. See if anything pops out. Oh, almost dropped them all. Can't pick them all. I'm gonna pick this one. Oh, beautiful. Oh, I love this message too. Okay, this is great. It's a message I always need to hear. This is a message I need to hear while there's an Earth Trine happening, because we can make these things really, really materially real if we're all calling this in and believing it at the same time. There is an abundance of everything. Shortage is only a perception. Shortage is only a perception. There is abundance of everything. You keep thinking there is a shortage of abundance, but a shortage is only a perception. There is a never-ending stream of abundance. There is no shortage whatsoever. I'm going to read that again. You keep thinking there is a shortage of abundance, but shortage is only a perception. There is a never-ending stream of abundance. There is no shortage whatsoever. I think that's pretty cool. Yeah, like what is the word shortage anyway? You biased against short kings? Why do you think of a shortage as negative? Maybe there's a tallage. Maybe there's not a shortage, there's a tallage somewhere, and the tall needs to redistribute its abundance. Ever thought of that? You can't have a shortage without being hoarded somewhere else. There is abundance. It's hard to unlock sometimes, but the first step to unlocking the abundance is believing it's there. Just got to do that. Now, I do want to wake up the tarot cards to see what more traditional archetypes can reveal. What do the more traditional archetypes have to say about this? There is no shortage, there is only abundance. Shuffled face down yesterday. I'm not really good at the bridge shuffling, you know. I gotta look up some YouTube video. Oh, cool! I cut it and found yesterday's card, right in the middle. That's fun. I need to get better at doing that shuffle bridge version where you do and then I'll be able to show you guys my shuffling. But like right now, I don't want y'all to see. Can't see the chaos. Wouldn't be chaos if you could see it. I mean, you can see chaotic things, but I'm not going to get into the chaos versus order discussion today. But just know that I could. Pretty chaotic to just dangle that over your head. What, are we going to start talking about chaos magic now? No, because once we start talking about it, it becomes an order. I'm not going to codify my chaos. Never. Never codify your chaos, folks. Always try to preserve the analog waveform that preserves the chaos within the signal. Then you can get better interference patterns. There is abundance. Just don't digitize your signal. An analog signal is so abundant with information. Yeah, it might be noisier, but that's the abundance. Okay. You're looking at the gift and thinking it's the error. Okay. You know, I don't really know what I mean by that, but somebody needed to hear it. You're looking at the gift and thinking it's the error. All right. Let's see. What cards go with there is an abundance of everything, shortage is only a perception? These two, I guess. All right. Oh, that sounds really manifesty. Okay. We got both upright, the King of Swords and the Moon. Just really hammering home. You just have to speak it. You really have to speak it and know it and believe it, not lie. Speak it as if truth and know your truth. Know your truth and know who you are in order to be saying things. In order to know the full meaning of I am saying this, you have to know the definition of all words in that sentence. I and am are part of that sentence. So you have to understand what you are, and then you will know what you are saying, and then you'll know the this part. And the moon really reflecting the way that we can reflect on how we get that knowledge, how we get that I am saying, how we get the I am. You have to reflect. You have to go back into the deep wells of sleepy time, reflection, dreamland, but also the eternal cycles, the cycles and the gravity and the way that it all works together. I think the moon and the connection between the moon and the tides is really a thing I like to, that's jumping out at me about this card right now. I mean, we've got like a fox and a wolf and a scorpion coming out of the water, all praising the moon. But really, I see the scorpion representing the tides in this current moment, and that representing the continuation of everything. Since everything is connected, there is no abundance, there's no vacuum. It's impossible for it to be a vacuum in a continuous world. So use that reflection, as above, so below. Everything that you reflect and perceive is reflecting and perceiving you. Use that to understand what you need to say and what you need to call in. There is an abundance of everything. Shortage is only in perception. Shortage is only there if the King of Swords says there's shortage. Abundance is there if he says there is abundance. You get to say that. Really cool. Really, really pretty, all three of these cards together. I really like what that's saying. Almost like the verbalization and the speaking it into existence really pop out with the birds singing on this card and with the King of Swords popping out. I mean, it's not just talking, it's also intellect and having intellect and sitting and ruling with it. And the knowledge that you could say something at any time, making your silence more profound. Also is a feeling coming up for that. All right. And it's also, the moon is the 18th card. We've got Mars at 18 degrees of Capricorn. I'm feeling very 1 and 8 and 108. You know what I mean? Yeah, I think we do. Okay, so I love y'all. It's time for this cloud to settle on down, and you know, I'm going to continue observing the weather, but passively, not digitally, out in the analog world, sensing the weather with my analog body. Ooh, remember that your body is the best weather station anyone could ever design. I mean that very, very, very truly in many, many ways that I'm not going to be able to talk about on. It's not like I'm being censored, but like, it's just not the right format to talk about it. But our body is the best weather station anyone could ever design. That's what I'm going to leave it at. Not only is your body a weather station, it's the best one that exists. What do I mean by that? You'll have to figure it out. All right, y'all. I love you very much. Putting all of my energies away. I'll see you tomorrow. And until then, everybody stay safe and happy, healthy, warm. Take care of yourself. Eat a nice, go eat a bowl of soup. I don't know. I just feel like I need to tell you, go eat a nice hearty bowl of soup, or like something that's going to hug you from the inside, you know? Get yourself a nice meal that seems like a blanket. And sorry that my targeted ads are on here. And my personal targeted ads are always for Brugger's Bagels, because I think the only thing I consistently splurge on is when I have like, if I ever make it a few pay cycles and I have like $10 left, I'm getting that bagel. Like, I don't know what in me, if I have some ancestors who just like loved bagels, but I love bagels. So I'm sorry if we're all craving bagels at an hour of the night where absolutely no one is making a bagel. So, Yeah, I love y'all. Let's have a great night. Thanks for coming. I hope to see you again soon.